The conservative war on education continues in Oklahoma, where a new bill introduced would fire teachers for teaching things that could possibly offend people who have religious beliefs. Now, I have to note that it's not any religious belief, it's strictly Christian belief. Now, Oklahoma Senator Rob Standridge has introduced legislation that would allow parents to sue any public school educators who teach anything in opposition to closely held religious beliefs of students. The bill would allow parents to sue teachers for $10,000 per incident per individual. The bill also stipulates that the fine would need to be paid by the teacher from their personal resources and cannot receive any assistance from individuals or groups. No GoFundMe. And if the teacher is unable to pay and receives assistance, they will be fired immediately and unable to teach in the state for 5 years. Jeez. Now, I'm going to ask you, do you know any public school teachers in Oklahoma that could afford to pay $10,000? That just have that laying around? Not too many, I'd wager. Because, you know, the average income of a public school teacher in Oklahoma is between $50,000 to $65,000 a year. So, you know, 10,000, and that's per incidence per individual. So say you have a classroom full of kids that have been quote unquote indoctrinated, right? Or have these closely held religious beliefs. And the teacher decides to teach about evolution and they get offended by it. 2, 3 of those people, 4, wipe out a salary for almost an entire year. Wow. And that's the absurdity here, right? The real absurdity about this is not just the amount of money, but the whole entire idea of basically letting parents fine teachers for teaching facts that somebody could possibly be offended by. I mean, for one, it really kind of it exposes how much hypocrisy is involved in the Republican Party. Like, you're the ones that are like, cancel culture. I hate cancel culture. Cancel students. I hate censorship. Ban books. You guys are snowflakes. I'm offended. I'm offended by you teaching facts. That's bizarre. How bizarre is that? What is wrong with you people? Again, in this situation, if this passes or some sort of variation of it, and I don't know its chances. I hope the chances are very small, but you never know. It's Oklahoma. But are you going to set up a situation really where you're going to have biology teachers that want to teach evolution getting ratted out by creationists who get offended, or creationists who fail science class because they're a creationist and so they just don't agree with the facts? How about a health teacher that teaches sex ed getting kicked out by parents who push abstinence-only education onto their kids? Or how about just plain old history, American history, which is rife with racism against Black people, Chinese, etc. How about, the fact that the United States was not founded in the Bible? That's a commonly held religious belief among some Americans, right? The United States founded on the Bible, Judeo-Christian values. No, but it wasn't. It was founded on principles of the Enlightenment. But if you teach that in Oklahoma, what? No, that offends me. I'm so offended. You're going to get sued, sir. No, let's call it what it is. It's cancel culture. Total cancel culture. And by the way, it's a chilling of free speech as well. Conservative cancel culture. So now, this isn't the only one. Oh no. There's another bill that Standridge has also introduced. And it would give individual parents the power to demand the removal of any book from school shelves that they believe contains LGBTQ content. The proposed legislation states that schools should be banned from carrying texts that cover the study of sex, sexual preferences, sexual activity, sexual perversion, okay, sex-based classifications, sexual identity, or gender identity, or books that are of sexual nature. So a lot of those just don't really have, I mean, they're not the same thing. The only thing that they have in common, a lot of these, is that they just involve discussions of sex and gender. So that's really broad, really, really broad. So now they claim, though, the bill does, that the books must be banned because a quote-unquote reasonable parent or legal guardian would want to know of or approve of them prior to their child being exposed to it. Now, according to the bill, school staff will be required to remove any such book within 30 days of a parent's request. If the staff does not comply, they will be terminated. Not only that, they will be blocked from being hired at any other public school for a period of 2 years. Again, you're effectively canceling them from teaching. Now, this isn't a surprise. They've gone after college professors the same kind of way. Now, Standridge has had a name of specific books that concerned him. You want to hear what they are? One is the Trans Teen Survival Guide, and a quick and easy guide to they/them pronouns. Yes, pronouns. He calls pronouns overly sexualized. Now get your over sexualized pronouns out of my face. I'm very, very uncomfortable right now. They/them is just proper grammar. I mean, insane. I don't like grammar. I don't like facts. I don't like information. I don't like things that offend me, and everything offends me. Why are you so offended, Snowflake? Liberal? I'm so offended by facts and science. Ban the books. Ban the teachers. Fire them. Sue them. I don't care. Get them out of here. I'm offended. Shut the fuck up. Snowflake. What a baby. Sad. And by the way, I've noticed something pretty disturbing. This wave of book bannings, and this has been happening lately, it seems pretty familiar. Like, kind of similar in the way that Texas had structured their abortion ban. So now they ban abortion up to 6 weeks, right? Or I'm sorry, anytime after 6 weeks. So now, afterwards, and instead of like the federal government coming in and punishing you if you get an abortion after 6 weeks, they've instead allowed people to sue not the people who get the abortion, but the providers. Or anyone they suspect could be aiding and abetting abortion after 6 weeks. And so they've sidestepped possibly constitutional protections like Roe v. Wade, for example. And so they're making the parents do the heavy lifting, making the people into the police, making them all into narcs. Nobody likes a narc, by the way. Nobody likes a narc. But that's what they're turning parents into. Hey, this book, this has this in it. I'm very offended. We should get rid of it. And so, again, these book bans do the same thing. It is not the government that cracks down. It is the parents, but using this law that allows what is essentially frivolous lawsuits. Now, that, of course, leads to this. Soft censorship. You got school libraries that are now so afraid that they're pulling any books that could possibly provide any controversy or offend anyone. And they're pulling them to avoid being sued. And then, of course, they're also looking to sanitize education of anything that could, let's be real about this, specifically right-wing Christians. Those are the people that are the most upset. Those are the people that feel, in this day and age, most victimized for some odd reason. Who's the snowflake now? Who are the ones that are engaging in cancel culture? And by the way, they found a very, very interesting way to do it. In a way, that abortion case I think was a test bed, not just for other ways to try to ban abortion throughout the states, but apparently also a way to ban education. I mean, geez. And of course, this is being used as the new conservative culture war against education. That's what it is. I mean, again, teachers and librarians are afraid that of litigation that will be brought against them for daring to do their jobs. It's a definite chilling effect. Negative implications in the future. This will likely lead to the rollback of LGBTQ plus rights and acceptance in our culture, and a complete remaking of our education system that was only allowed to teach right-wing Christian point of view. That's what they ultimately want, which at the end of the day, look, I don't care if you're a religious person. You're allowed to have your religion. We have freedom of religion. But what you don't have is the freedom to impose your religion upon other people. Okay? So that's where your rights end, where my rights begin. And so this is an incredibly dangerous precedent for civil liberties, freedom of speech, expression, and of course, facts.